First of all, let's just look back to last week. Obviously, it was that defeat. Was it hard to be too critical on the team and the players given what had been achieved in the build-up to that?
No, I think we weren't overly critical. I think we just analysed the game as we normally would. It's obviously a disappointing performance for us. Firstly, the result wasn't what we wanted, but more importantly, the performance. We never quite reached the levels we expect and we know we can reach. So that was probably the most disappointing thing. But over the course of the season, we can't criticise the group and the squad. They've done terrific things. They've been very consistent. Put themselves in a great position now. Already got the 2 trophies already, and in a cup final. So they've been a great group. They've worked really hard this year. They deserve all the praise they've got. But again, we've very high standards at this club. The managers, sets them every week. So there's certainly, some things to look at come Monday morning.
Does the fact you've got the Scottish Cup final coming up make it easier to kind of reset, refocus?
Yeah, there's always that drive. Players are stimulated by, playing for the club, and every game you go out, you want to perform. At the end of the day, they're competitors. When the competition's there, it's, there's always that motivation. So the fact we have the final still to go, it gives us that stimulant right through to the end of the season. We're not just kind of playing games out and looking to finish. We want to finish as strong as we can, and it's important we get the right form and the right condition and put ourselves in the right place getting into a cup final, because again, on the day you have to put in a performance that merits the win. So we'll be fully prepared for that, I'm sure.
Just on a similar kind of theme there, I mean, despite the fact that I'm sure you and Ange have said, that the players, they won't allow themselves to think job done over the next few games. But I mean, how difficult is that? Because the league's wrapped up. The Scottish Cup finals are a few weeks away. I mean, is it difficult to stop the players from adopting a just kind of going through the motions mentality until you get to the cup final?
No, but that comes from ourselves as well. We got to drive the standards. We set the training up. We're the ones who prepare the players for all the games. We get them in the right condition. Get them kind of peak performance to go out there and perform on a weekend or whatever it might be. So we won't allow that, and that's, the manager's got very high standards in that respect. He savours every game we have, every moment we have as a football player or part of a coaching team, and we've got to maximise every opportunity we get. So we're obviously disappointed with last week, but again, we've got to look forward to the weekend again. And the fact there's a cup final, there's always places to play for. So, nobody's guaranteed a spot in the team. If somebody's in the team for the next two or three league games and they're not performing, then someone will be right behind them waiting to take their spot for a cup final. So firstly comes the weekend, we've got to put things right, and get the performance levels back to what we expect and what we know we can get to, and then obviously next week we'll work through that, and then when the cup final comes along, as it says, we'll be ready to go again.
Can I just ask what your team uses? How you're looking on the selection front?
Just same as last week, no changes from last week. Everything's the same as it was.
John, you've been around Celtic for many years now. There's the talk of this treble. Obviously, the league's wrapped up and still focusing on the league games, but the main aim now is to win the cup and complete the 3 trophies. How does this team compare to other treble-winning teams you've been involved with, just other Celtic teams you've been involved in general?
I think every team's different, in terms of the makeup of it and the dynamic of the group, the type of players and personalities they have. But this group are young. A lot of them have come in from different places, maybe not won so much, but they've fitted right into what the club's about. They've embraced everything that the club's about. They've taken on the challenges, and there's still work to do. We can't sit here and be thinking, yeah, treble's round the corner, because we've still got football to play, and we'd never get into that kind of mindset. So we know we've still got to work hard right through the end of the season this week. The training's been very intense. Training the last 2 days has been a very, very high standard. And that's what carries us there. And ultimately the hunger of the group and the way they want to work brings a consistency, and the consistency then brings success over the course of the season. And that's what all groups have had. A real hunger and desire to win and do well and have high standards, and continually churn that out, because it's not easy, in terms of going and winning trophies year after year, or winning multiple trophies in a season. It takes a lot of work, from everyone, through all the players, the manager who's meticulously kind of put this team together and put the squad together to and then bringing them all together for the one cause. He's very good in that respect in terms of giving them, a common purpose and a goal. And he just relentlessly drives it into them every week in terms of what they need to do to achieve big things. So, they've done very well. We're in a good position. We're in a good place. But we'll certainly take nothing for granted. We just need to make sure we go and finish things off.
You were talking there about how the manager, united the squad, one cause, how much he's helped the players. How much has he helped you as a coach? How do you feel you've improved since Ange has come in?
Again, it's been really good. We've got a really good relationship with him. We've got on very well. He gives us, a lot of responsibility in different areas, which is good for myself and keeps me busy. But I mean, every manager I've worked with always takes something off, but he's certainly coming in with a different style. So again, from a coaching perspective, it's good to learn from someone different who sees the game slightly differently. And the big thing with him is just he doesn't kind of veer off track. He knows where he wants to go. He knows how he wants things done. And that makes our job as coaches easier because we know his expectations, we know the standards he demands, and that's our job to go out and deliver on that. And he trusts you with that. So, it's been a good working relationship. He's done a terrific job since coming in. He's come in cold in terms of from the other side of the world, pretty much. On his own, he's had to get to know a lot of people. He's had to rebuild a squad. And he pretty much brought instant success here at the club, and he's built on that once more. So, he's been a great addition for the club. He's been a great addition for myself and everyone else here at the club involved, and long may that continue.
You mentioned, some of the rotation. Is that one of the plus points, if you like, of having the league wrapped up now, that you can say to lads, right, go out, take your opportunity, play yourself into a position to be involved in the cup final over these remaining games?
Yeah, I think game on game, there'll be opportunities there for guys to play. It's not just happened this year. I think we've seen last year we had a lot of rotation, even at full-back positions, which you don't see that regularly. We were regularly rotating full-backs and wide players, midfield players at different times. So when the squad's strong and we see them, training day in, day out and working really hard, I think the manager can see for himself the guys who, are waiting in that opportunity, and he's good in terms of picking his moments to give the guys oxygen, giving them that opportunity to go in and perform, and in the main, over the course of the 2 seasons, the performance levels have stayed at a very good level and not dropped. That's always the worry, in terms of working in the past and in previous years was, when you rotate too much, how many people do you rotate? If you rotate too much, does the performance level drop? But, we've got a really strong group here who, work every single day to be ready for the weekend, whether they're going to play 10 minutes or 90 minutes. They know that when they step on the pitch, what's the demands of them, what the manager expects of them, and they've been excellent in terms of going out and living up to those standards.
I don't know if you saw Stephen Robinson's comments this morning saying that St Mirren as a club, a higher level of taking a decision that there'll be no guard of honour from the St Mirren players. Is that something that's even on your radar? Is that something that even enters the kind of the psyche at all, or you just get on with the football side?
Nah, again, we can't really affect that anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. We'll just, look at our performance, go out there and try and win the game. That's all we'll do.
St Mirren have still got something to play for in terms of their league position. Do you think that gives your players an extra focus, because there will be still a bit of an edge to the game?
I don't think it'll change our focus. Because we know we probably underperformed last week. The result wasn't certainly not what we were looking for. Performance was way off what we were looking for. So for us, it's about correcting that more than worrying too much about the opposition. Stephen's done a terrific job there with his staff in terms of what they've done at St Mirren. They've been one of the opponents this year with different games. They've been really difficult games, tough games. We've had to work hard in the games to get results. So it'll be the same tomorrow. They're well organised, very well drilled. Everyone knows their job. We've played them enough times now to realise what they're about. But in terms of us, I think the manager always says this anyway, it's about what we do. We can affect what we do. We know the levels we can reach, so it's up to us to go out there and try and get to that level of performance. And we know when we're performing at a very high level, we have the ability to score goals, keep clean sheets, and go and win games. So that'll be the challenge for us tomorrow.
I know you're back in front of the home fans tomorrow, and it must feel like quite some time since you've played a home game. Do you think that's something the players are looking forward to not give them an extra boost especially after last weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always, a special place in terms of going, playing at Celtic Park in front of your own fans. It's been, a good few weeks now. And obviously things have happened over those few weeks, so it'll be nice to have a full house tomorrow in front of our own fans, and again ultimately we want to give them something back, which is high level performance. So that's what we'll try and do.
Hi John. Celtic's possession last weekend was 67%. That's the highest of all 6 derbies this season, despite the result. Does that stat emphasise the importance of decision making in the team's current system? Make sure that the team don't become too safe and build up when they're facing a clash like Rangers? Or is it simply a case of remaining patient on the ball and avoiding panic when the team are playing out?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think that was Rangers' strategy in the game. They had 2 quick players at the front end. They gave up possession at times, and but we were probably as wasteful with it as we've been in most of their games, in terms of decision making, in terms of execution, the technical side of the game. We missed too many passes, we made too many bad decisions, as you said, and that led to a lot of turnovers and gave Rangers the opportunities to hit us in counter-attacks and catches in moments we weren't quite organised. So there was certainly a lot to look at in the game, which was, as much as a bad result and poor performance, it's good. It's a reminder for us, as a group, that we constantly got to be on it. You can't drop kind of 10%, because we know how much that affects our game. So again, it's just that focus in terms of in the right moments we've got to be quick with attacks, because that's what we're all about. I think we've seen so many times in terms of when we see the opportunities to break forward quickly and play into the front third early and get early deliveries into the box, we can be lethal at times. So we do that at the right times, but also at the same time, if a team's set up to stop that, then we've got to kind of work our way up the pitch, be more patient, pin them in there, and wait on our opportunities to dominate. And then when teams are up and in and around their box, we know we can sustain a bit more pressure, which again we lacked last week as well. So as a balance, if the teams give us space to attack early, we'll do it. But at the same time, if teams are going to sit back in there, we've got to, in terms of be aggressive with the ball, but sustain pressure up in and around their box.
Hi John, I remember Kenny Dalglish giving you your debut 20 odd years ago. How important is it for us to keep that tradition going and look at bringing in some of the B team players who have performed very well this season, just won the Glasgow Cup, and maybe get some minutes before the end of the season?
Make me feel old there. Long time ago. Yeah, Kenny obviously gave him a debut, which was a very proud moment for myself, and I think that's a big part of the club. It's the difficulty is when you're at a big club, is the opportunity isn't there as much as other clubs who maybe don't have the resource to bring in the players we do, the demand on to win all the time. But over the course of time, especially when I've been here, there's always a player every season or 2 seasons who comes in around the first team. This year we've especially the last 6-9 months, we've had Bosun, Ben Summers, Rocco Vat, who train with us every day. So again, that's players who we've looked at, thought they're ones we want to try and develop, and when we can bring them up to the first team and train with us regularly, you certainly see that difference. There's more demand on them, there's a higher level of tempo and intensity in how they play. So and you've seen some of them into the pitch. So again, that's something I think the managers spoke about it in terms of last year. They made some changes to the B squad. Certainly he's got more of an eye on it now, and hopefully over the kind of seasons ahead, we'll see a steady flow of young talents coming through, and then again, it's just waiting an opportunity, be ready for the opportunity, and when it comes along, you got to take it, because as I said, at Celtic they don't come around every week.
Tomorrow we're going to get the chance to celebrate a title win in front of 60,000 fans, and then on Sunday the Celtic support have another chance to celebrate a second title win for Fran Alonso's side, and if results go the right way. How impressed as a coach have you been with the job that Fran Alonso has done for the Celtic FC women's team? Yeah,
it's been great, and it's great that as the club as a whole, we've been successful. It's nice, looking, seeing I meet Fran at different times, but looking from afar, I don't see him working up close every day, but again, he's got real energy about him. The kind of squad he's built there as well has been able to go and challenge on all fronts. And it's great to put himself in a really good position, in terms of where they're at now. I know early in the season they weren't in quite a strong position, but they've kind of built their way back into it and putting themselves in a position to potentially go and win a league title. And that'd be a massive achievement again for Fran and his team there. So, done great. Again, if you look at the progression of the women's game and the Celtic team in particular over the last few years. They've improved every year. They're getting stronger. You see the type of players they're bringing in from elsewhere as well, which is, it's been good. So everything's, very positive at the club at the minute, but that's, we've got to keep our foot in the pedal and keep moving forward in all areas.
John, when you've been doing your kind of analysis of last week, has it been especially important for some of the kind of newer players you've got, the likes of Yuki Kobayashi, who's maybe new to that fixture, could that be an kind of an important learning and positive kind of experience ultimately for him, just to have experienced that and learn from it?
Yeah, it is. In every game we play, there's a learning in every game for us, individually and collectively. If we go out and win 5-0, we'll always pick the holes in it and the positives and feed that back to the players as a group and individually. And it's the same process for us, when we suffer a defeat or a poor performance. So we go through the same process. The players, are very comfortable with that. They know that. But sometimes in terms of going through that experience, which is sometimes a tough one, you do get a lot of learning from it, because when you're winning every week, you something get in a mindset and that becomes the norm for you. And sometimes it just shakes you up a little bit and gives you a reminder that, if you're, part of your game is not quite on it, you don't attack the game in the right intent. Even the way we started the game last week as a team, it wasn't to our normal standards. Rangers came on to us, we lost a lot of duels, we missed a lot of passes, and straight away that puts under pressure in the game. So even that in itself, in terms of how you start a fixture like that or how you start any game, it just gives us a reminder, because not all games start like that, but we got to go into the game with the right mindset that it might start like that, and that's the way we want to start the game. So, it's important for us to always remember that we play in a style that we look to impose on the opposition. So there's that kind of learning as a team and obviously individually with the players. As I said, it's the same process, but when the game is more challenging, there's certainly more things to look at. So, in hindsight, the boys will look back in that, a lot of them. They'll learn a lot from that, especially the younger lads. And hopefully then as, they now come into the next games and going forward, they'll be able to, correct some of the errors that happened.
Just finally, I don't know how much you'll know about this, but there was a report I just saw today about South Korea under 24s might be looking to take O away for September, October to the Asian Games next season. Is that kind of something that you're aware of? Is that it'll obviously be a difficult time to lose a key centre forward for, especially when the Champions League is going on? Is that something that might happen or might not happen?
I don't know, probably something the gaffer deals with more, in terms of, I'm obviously slightly aware of it. I don't know the finer detail of it, but, that'll be something that I'm pretty sure will land on the manager's desk and he'll make the call on that.